The Jones Longhorns are state champions for the first time since 2016, and the Washington dynasty comes to an end, at least for now. Their run of 3 straight titles ends at 3. The pursuit of number 4 comes to an end tonight as the Jones Longhorns win it 20-14 over the Washington Warriors here in the 2A-1 state championship. Michael Knight from Prep Red Zone, Oklahoma, joined by Justin Jones, a Norman North head coach, also the executive director of the OFBCA. And Coach, you combine 2A2 and 2A1, and it's been a heck of a Friday here in Edmond.
Yeah, definitely worth the price of admission. I mean, both really good games that come down to the wire. But I was commenting to the coaches up in the suites. I mean, that was a physical football game we just witnessed. Yeah. And what about Jones? There's some electric plays. You go in at 6-6 at halftime, but come back out, put two great drives together. I mean, just unbelievable football game by those kids.
Yeah, and the Longhorns, they get the ball there in the first quarter. They get the 3-and-out. Washington, they force a 3-and-out on the first possession. Then they drive right down and score. Asen Hansen scores on a 5-yard touchdown run a little halfway through the first quarter. And you're thinking, this is about as picture perfect of a start for the Longhorns. And then, like you mentioned, it was 6-6 at halftime. So there was only one other touchdown the rest of the first half. Both teams really settled in. And like you said, physicality really won the day in the first half.
Yeah, you look at this game, and I think when you have Washington, right, been there, done that, obviously Jones goes down and scores, and Washington comes back in and ends up putting a drive there right before half, and, both teams go for 2, and one of the things you're looking at for the experienced team versus the kind of the new kids on the block, to this game is how does the demeanor, right, how does momentum affect them, and really, what a credit to number one, Washington for fighting back, look, veterans and guys that have been there, done that. But, the Jones kids never flinched. And the coaches and the demeanor, the body language, they were here to win the game. And you could see that from the get-go.
It was an interesting matchup because you had Washington that had won 3 straight titles. But as far as experience go, they were kind of relatively inexperienced. They had a lot of new faces on both sides of the ball. Granted, there's a reason why they got here in the first place. But then on the other sideline, you had Jones, which was very senior heavy. They hadn't lost all season, and there's no doubt that they were hungry to make it to this game, to see Washington on the other sideline, because again, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And when it comes to 2A1, nobody's been better than Washington over the last 5 years. I think that it was a point for this senior group, for Jones, that this is the goal. This was the ultimate spot that they wanted to be in. And in fact, they met together at this time last year and said, guys, we only have one senior season. This is our last go round. And I think that camaraderie with this group really kind of showed through tonight.
Yeah, these guys, Coach Witt, hats off to him and his staff, Coach Doral, and we at Northern North, we 7-on-7 with Jones every once in a while, and man, what a class act. But those kids are hungry. They were hungry back in summer when we were doing those things, and not to mention, Coach Beller and what his staff does. Just, what a platform for a Friday night for high school football.
There in the second half, again, it was 6-6 at halftime. Second half begins, and Jones really puts Washington in a hole. They come out and they score. Solid drive to start the third quarter. John Quay Johnson, a 10-yard touchdown. They took about 4 minutes off the clock to go up 14-6. Then about 4 minutes later, they go on another drive, big third down conversions to keep that drive alive. Jose Taylor, 22-yard touchdown run. That puts the Longhorns up 20-6. And then the first play for Washington on that next possession, big run, 37-yard run, but at the end of it, there's a fumble. The Longhorns recover, and you're thinking, I don't know if the Warriors can get out of this hole.
Well, you look at that, and again, great run by the quarterback. Obviously, great pursuit by Jones to not give up on the play.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in these games, right? The ball bounces sometimes your way, and I think the same thing on the next possession. Jones fumbles the ball, but they just happen to recover it, and that's kind of how these games go.
Jones leads 20-6 at the end of the third quarter, but then Washington strikes. 7:24 left in the fourth. Javen Hall gets into the end zone on a 3-yard touchdown run, and then one of the best plays that we saw last week was the 2-point conversion. Creed Barrett diving and just stretching the ball out over the goal line. No other part of his body was over the goal line except for that ball.
Yeah, we watched the replay upstairs, and it's almost like when he's inverted right and upside down, he realizes where he's at, and he just sticks the ball out right at the end. But again, incredible play by him.
That makes it 20-14. Again, 7:24 left, and then Jones goes on a methodical drive, takes about 5 minutes off the clock. 2:48 left. They face fourth down, and it could have been disaster. It's a 15-yard loss on fourth down. That gives Washington the ball back, and you're thinking the champs are going to do it, right? Heart of a champion. They're going to go down, get their fourth straight gold ball, until another turnover happens. Thomas for Jones, picking it off around midfield, and that sealed the game for the Longhorns.
Yeah, I mean, a great play call, right? The ball's open and just, kind of deflects off into the defender's hands. But, again, for the series of events right there that happens, Washington gets the momentum back. They stop the quarterback, right? Really gives them some positive field position and a chance. And I think everybody up in the room was like, all right, table's set. You go on a drive here, you convert and you win the game. And but again, hats off to Jones there for those defensive guys to not allow momentum to be taken away from them and come right back and punch right back.
The Longhorns, we mentioned that senior class, two players that you lead off the conversation with. Asen Hansen, the quarterback, some numbers for him. 21 of 30 for $183. He also had 26 carries for 116 and a touchdown on the defensive side of the ball. Number 12 linebacker right in the middle of that defense, Luke DeBusk. He led the team in tackles with 10. He's been starting since his freshman year. A 4-year starter, Hansen, kind of similar story. Those two, you need your best players to step up, be leaders, and play their best on the biggest stage like today, and those two did.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Hansen. I mean, there was no doubt on that field who was the best football player tonight, and a lot of talent out there. But the things that he was able to do both with his arm and with his feet, and to get him into some critical first downs. Right, I think Jones had 24 first downs.
Yes,
a lot of that is the quarterback being able to find just a crease in playing physical, right? And then you look at the linebacker again. Both sides, both teams. I mean, just the physicality. Watching all these games this weekend, 6A-1 obviously was a physical game, but then, I rank this one right up there. If it wasn't as physical as 6A-1, it was just right there. I mean, it was a crazy physical game.
And you knew it was going to be that way. With these two programs, obviously this was the 6th straight trip to the state title game for Washington. Jones was hungry to get here. Washington had kind of been the thorn in Jones's side over the last 5 years. You knew it was going to be a physical game just from the get-go, and it played out that way. And we got to tip our cap to Washington. I mean, the run that they've been on, 6 straight state title games, 3 straight state titles coming into this. Obviously, coming into the season, they had a 40-plus game winning streak, a program with Coach Beller. Year after year, he's going to have his team playing their best football when it matters the most.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Beller's one of the best in our business at what he does, and the way, the program that he's built here in the past 10 years, and the way that he does it, his staff, Coach Colbeth, and really all those guys, they're the consummate professionals, right? They do it the right way. Their kids play extremely hard, and they're class all the way. So, you couldn't write a better script for a 2A-1 game. This is exactly what you want. And this is, those two types of teams that ended up here tonight, there's a reason they were here. And, again, hats off to both ball clubs. What a fantastic game.
And somewhere in West Texas, Dave Martin is smiling as he, almost a decade ago, helped lead Jones to their first state title in 2016. He hands off the reins to Kevin Witt, and a few years later, he's raising the gold ball. This Jones program, similar to Washington, has become one of the blue bloods when it comes to 2A football.
Yeah, no pressure, Coach Martin. But I guess if you win a national championship this year at Texas Tech, then we've got a story there too.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been rooting for him. I'm partial to Coach Martin
absolutely.
As well. Wish he was back in Oklahoma, but I think he's doing all right in Lubbock. Coach, you're here with the OFBCA, and these instant reaction videos have been great over the last couple of weeks. Awesome to chop it up, but there's a reason you're here, and it's because you guys have a huge event coming up next month in Shawnee for coaches all across the state of Oklahoma. Yeah,
so we'll have our winter clinic, like we've discussed before, just a great event for all of our coaches, all of our membership to come together and really to socialize together, to reflect on this season. Coaching such a brotherhood, and it's so great to see everyone in an event where there's no stress, there's no game on the line, and we can, chop it up. We can make sure that we kind of clinic each other, and they say iron sharpens iron. And the thing I love about the football fraternity, the brotherhood that we have as coaches, is there are no secrets. And in an event like this, we'll coach each other up, and everybody kind of walks away learning something. And so, great event for us. It's great for our vendors that come out and obviously support us and our organization. And so, it's a great event. We'll give out our state champion plaques to our state champion coaches. We'll award some journeyman scholarships for young coaches that are in college but are on the sidelines every Friday night. And then we'll do some other things, right? We'll start ramping up the business side of it, some changes that may impact Oklahoma high school football in the future. We'll start looking and talking about reclassification, which is a big topic for us this year that will happen, in February. And so a lot of business that we'll have to take care of, but certainly an event that we're looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I wanted to hit on, because we talked about the 35, under 35, that'll take place. The launch of the Minority Coaches Association, that'll take place. All these initiatives that the OFBCA has kind of spearheaded over the last couple of years, we've talked about that. But look, the 2025 season hasn't ended. I'm already looking ahead to 2026. Redistricting, reclassing at this point of the year, normally we have that stuff in place. Give us a little bit of insight as to what we're waiting on, what we still need to have, and then what that process looks like.
Yeah, so really over the last couple of years, we've really kind of amended the process of redistricting. Traditionally what we would do is we would take May numbers from the previous year, and we would have basically redistrict for the 26-27 cycle. We would have done that back in July. As an association, we look at those things, and obviously with all the new things that are going on.
I want to jump in. How much, and you might have already been going down this road, transfers, kids moving schools, how much has that impacted the timing of the process? Because you mentioned using May numbers, but that transfer windows in the summertime and those May numbers could look completely different.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
I think the other thing for us is when you're using May numbers, at the end of your cycle, you're really using 3-year-old data, mm-hmm. right? And then when you look at, really with the ability with open transfer and some other things, I think all that kind of settles in. Your October numbers are funding numbers for every school from the State Department, so those are going to be a true representation of it. I think some of the things that are stressful about it are getting the numbers right, and then we've got to get schedules taken care of as we reclassify. And you've got to wait on a couple of things, right? The OSSA will get the numbers. You've got to look at schools that may go independent. You've got to look at schools that may drop or things like that. The other thing that Octobers matter, right? We're a little bit different now because we've got divisions in Class A, divisions in Class 2A, right? And then obviously you've got 6A1, 6A2. And so there's a trickle-down effect for all classes and really a trickle-up effect. And so we really want to make sure we have accurate numbers so we're playing schools in the classification that they rightfully deserve to be.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not telling coaches anything they don't already know, but it's not just the districts, it's not just the classes, non-district schedules. I know a lot of coaches wait to see who's in their district, who's in their classes to solidify that non-district slate. But it should be coming up. You'll get together in February and at least take those first steps to figuring out what 2026-27 will look like.
Yeah, so we'll have we have our first business meeting on Monday. We always do it the Monday after the final state championship game. As a board, we'll look at those dates. Right now, we're looking at the first week of February to again have all of our coaches and kind of announce those districts. And that's all tentative based on us getting the numbers. The other thing that we'll do is we'll form our committees at that meeting all the way through the winter clinic. We'll approve those committees for each classification. And really, what our committees are, each classification will have a 5-man committee, and that 5-man committee is responsible for putting proposals together for districts for every one of the classes that they represent. And so, there's a lot of work to be done, but this is one of the things that I think every coach and every member in our organization takes serious because we want to get it right. And we've been in some tough situations, but I believe in our coaches, I believe in our process, and we'll get those things done. And our deadline is really to hit the February board meeting for the OSSA so that they can approve those, and then we can go get our districts or non-district schedules figured out.
And you have my number, so once you have the classes and districts, you can go ahead and just float those my way before they come out. But no, look, I mean, what you guys were able to do in 2024 when you had to do an emergency redistricting, I know that was a huge pain, but you guys did such a great job with such a short amount of time to get the new classes, new districts in place. That worked out really well. You guys don't get enough credit for being able to work on the fly like that so close to the start of a season. Jones wins it tonight, 20-14 over the Washington Warriors. Coach, looking forward to the Coaches Clinic next month. And this has been great. Thank you to the OFBCA for joining us for all these instant reactions. Looking forward to the clinic next month. Looking forward to seeing what those new classes and districts look like. But before we start thinking about 2026, we got one more day of high school football left.
Two more great games.
2 heavyweight fights. I'm telling you, 3A state championship game, Lincoln Christian and Sulphur at noon, rematch of last year's state title game. And at 7, the real main event, 4A title game. It is Elgin against Tuttle. All 4 of these teams, Coach, undefeated on the season. All 4 of these teams 1 and 2 in their respective class all season. I've been looking forward to these 2 games for a very long, really since last December, the last time they played. So one more day of high school football. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's almost like we scripted it to happen. So
I did.
It's going to be awesome to see. I can't wait to see it.
For Coach Justin Jones, head coach of the Norman North Timberwolves, also the executive director of the OFBCA, I'm Michael Knight. One final time, the Jones Longhorns are your 2A-1 state champs. They win it tonight, 20-14 over the Washington Warriors. Be sure to stay tuned to our YouTube channel for all of the highlights, including tomorrow's games with 3A and 4A. For Coach Jones, I'm Michael Knight, and this has been the 2A-1 Instant Reaction.